Hey, what's going on, guys? Caucasian Mark here, whitest student on the internet. Today we're going to be learning about fonts because fonts are cool, fonts are fun, and it gets your user to focus on different parts of the page. And maybe you have a blog, or maybe you're Steve Jobs and you realize that font is actually more important than you think because if it looks, well, let me explain to you like this. Say you're reading a book, it's an interesting book, but the way the font is laid against the page, it's just not easy on the eyes, right? It may sound like a petty thing. There could be people out there that's just like, well, I read books just fine regardless of the font, blah, 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 blah. And you know, whatever. But if you're creating the damn thing, you might as well make it look good, right? And if you don't have an eye for what's, pretty, what's, the latest whatever, then you could Google that or whatnot. But the point is that when you're using CSS, you don't want the same crap over and over and over again. You want a winning combination of styles, graphics, how different elements work with each other, mixed in with the functionality. You want a good looking product that works, right? So font is a way to do that. So first I want to start by saying that there are two types of font family names. There's like a generic family, and then there's a font family. And the generic one is just a group of font families with a similar look. Like serif, monospace are two generic ones. And that font family is a specific font. So like Times New Roman, I believe, is like the standard, or was the standard for Microsoft Word. Arial is another one, I do believe. So keep that in mind there. And serif is also kind of a bit more decorated and dressed up. That doesn't mean that sans serif or monospace can't look fancy, but with serif you're going to have more like on a T, like a capital T. You have more like hooks on the top, and on the bottom you can have a little bit more of the feet there. It's a little bit more dressed up letters, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's better in any single way. So coming on in, if we're doing like say a font family, let's just get into the meat of it here. Come down here, we could select font family, and we could do something like Times New Roman, right? Actually, let's get it there. We could do like Georgia, and see what's another one we could do. And let's do Verdana. So, alright, cool. And one thing I want to say here, sorry, I'm waking up still. It's 8 in the morning. My girlfriend woke me up about 6:30 when she left for work. So, one thing you want to do is if your font family is more than one word, you want it in parentheses here. So if this font was like Georgia loves peaches or whatever, or Georgia, loves the civil rights movement or something along those lines, you'd want it in quotations. But since it's one word for Georgia and Verdana, that's cool. But Times New Roman is bigger, so you have to put it in quotations. It's just a way of the browser and everything working to read it as the font you want. So cool, we got that. We're going to save it. And what are we doing here? Why is this the way it is? Why are we here right now in the world? We're here because the Times New Roman is going to go first. It's going to be red. And if it's not red, the browser is going to pick up Georgia. It's going to ask the browser, hey, do you know what Georgia is? The browser gives you a thumbs up, thumbs down, and cool, right? And if that doesn't work, it goes to Verdana. So what you want is like a series of choices. You could even do this at the end. You go Verdana. These are all specific ones, and at the end of it, you could do something like sans serif. So it's a generic one, right? It's the generic family there. So you go specific, 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 and then just give me something generic. Like I don't give a damn what it is. Just because the last thing you want is to not have your words display. You want it to display in some fashion, hopefully in this order, but that's just the way it is. So we're going to save that there. And so let's come on over to our index file here. And yes, there is, I need to delete this here. I'm going to show you what this is later. But for right now, that's not important. And so we're going to scroll up here. Once again, I'm going to show you the Google fonts in just a moment, because I was just playing with it. And I lost my jar of pig's feet. So we can see that this is wholly different from before, right? And to make it larger, let's do font size. Let's do the 40 pixels again. Come down here, refresh. Now, if the browser couldn't read it, let's delete that. Come in here, Georgia, refresh, and see it changes it. Say it can't read Georgia, so we're going to delete that. It goes to Verdana, or Verdana, whatever you want to pronounce it as. Cool. Now what if it can't do that? Just give me something from sans serif. Refresh, and there we go. Cool stuff. That's a lot of fun. Everyone's having a good time. That's cool. But what are some other things that we could do with font? Let's just keep, you know what, let's go back to Georgia. Refresh it there. What are some other cool things we can do with font? Well, we could come down to font style, and there's three values. There's normal, which is as shown, right? Italic and oblique. So let's go to the font style here. I think we all know what italic is. If not, don't worry. See, it kind of slants it on over. Italics are important when you want to have like a focus on something. Say you're writing an article on something and you want a specific focus on a word or like a short, you know, series of words in that sentence. Or maybe if it's a form word, I've seen that too. You could do that and I'll put emphasis like this is something special in my sentence. Now if we want to do something like normal, we could execute that thusly. Normal, it looks normal. That's no brainer there. Now if we want to go to oblique, so we see that it is like leaning over, but it's like similar to italic, but you might just want to use italics there. Depends on the support of the browser. You know, you could hear bold, you hear underline, you hear all that stuff. But oblique, I mean, you could use it if you want to, but you really have to be careful if it's supported. It's not as supported as italics, but you know that's just kind of the you know, nature of that arrangement there. So font size we've already worked on. You can type in font size. You can make it freaking massive, gigantic. I'm using 40 pixels, so it's bigger for everybody. Up there, we could come on in, make it, you know, 47. Refresh it, and it's noticeably larger. Cool, awesome stuff there. There's really no, you know, surprises with that. Another one we could do is we could go into font weight, and there's a bunch of stuff we could do in here, which is kind of nice. So we could do bold, which you could probably guess what that's going to do. It makes it bold. We want to add an ER to the end. We can make it bolder. Not as in like Boulder, Colorado, but you know, let me save this up here. So save, refresh down there. Now let me double check here because it doesn't look like there's a ton of difference between these two. Bold, yeah, it looks like on my browser it's reading them just about the same here. So you want to keep that in mind as well, because like I said, you may select something and you're like nothing's happening. And it's not that what you're doing is wrong, it could just be the browser. So we could go to lighter, come down here, and yeah, it's a little bit lighter than it was before, but you know, there's still that thickness that's there. Good stuff, fun. And let's play around with another one here. So we can see 100, what else is here? 6, let's see what 600 is, right? Come down here, refresh, and that's pretty thick. So it's really just saying, you know, how much weight or thickness do you want to add to the font? You know, nothing extra special there. So now that we've gone around and played in this, I mean, we could go all day and go through all font stretch, synthesis, all this other stuff. This is just a beginning tutorial series. But what if I told you that, say, your font family, it's okay, right? But say you want something a bit more special. Well, you could go to Google Fonts, which is right here, and you could look for, let me bring this up here. You're looking for stuff that's, a bit more of what you want. There's the search feature up here. You could click and move it over, and you could even adjust the slant. You can make it like a super slanty, I guess. So it's just tangerine right here. So say I wanted to, let's see, make it larger there. I want to add this in. It would bring me down here. Remove this one. What I'm going to do is this. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to take this link right here. And I'm going to save it. And I'm going to come into here, into my index.html page here. And I'm going to paste it. I'm going to save it. And then it says down here, use the following CSS rule. So I'm going to do tangerine, cursive. We're just going to leave Georgia there at the end. Hopefully it doesn't screw anything up too bad. And so we're going to come in here and then we're going to refresh. And we see that we have that I lost my jar of pig's feet. And it's all in cursive, the tangerine. And this is a neat way for you to go in and be like, hey, I want something, specific. I want something with a lot of slant. Or you could just even come in and just like surf, and you could see and tweak some of the different font families there are out there. Because, I mean, tech is an ever-growing thing, and there's a lot of graphic designers, people who develop text and whatnot. So why not go out there and use something new rather than just the same old over and over and over again, because it may spice things up for you. But this has been my video on font, all that other good, sexy, lovely stuff. Ben Caucasian Mark. Like, share, subscribe, contribute, all that jazz. Have a good one. Have a cup of coffee or 18, and take care.